F1's silly season has been in full motion ever since Lewis Hamilton made public that he's moving to Ferrari in 2025, and in recent months we have seen some pieces of the puzzle being filled, notable by Alonso announcing his longer stay at Aston Martin. But we are still in for some insane changes, as there are some interesting free agents on the market, and one in particular could cause a domino effect, and that is Carlos Sainz. Sainz is still looking for a cockpit for 2025. The Spaniard has an option between Red Bull, Mercedes, and Audi. The first two possibilities are more appealing, but they are subject to certain conditions. Carlos Sainz is having a fantastic season, but the Ferrari driver does not yet have a cockpit for next year. But he's spoilt for choice. There is no quick fix for the 29-year-old Spaniard. He needs to make a huge decision whether he chooses Red Bull, Mercedes, or Audi. And not everything is in my hands, Sainz adds. In Miami, the three-time Grand Prix winner debunked a rumor. It is not true that I cancelled Audi. It's one of the options I have on the table. A long-term deal with the Ingolstadt-based corporation provides security, attention, and an important task, but it also represents a sports challenge with no guarantee of GP wins. Audi will compete as Sauber for the first year. When Audi officially enters in 2026, it will be a rookie to the engine stage. Sainz knows he may have to take hits for a year or two, but this does not appear to faze him. The VW Group and Audi have been successful with everything they've touched in motorsport. Audi would also sign Sainz immediately. Andreas Seidl, the head of Formula One, had first held the decision to his beloved driver's chest. Even the incoming Hülkenberg has openly praised the Spanish driver. But recently, the open invitation has eased down because Audi has realized that Sainz's choices are more difficult than they appear, and that waiting may get him there. But Sainz has to be careful to not wait too long. Red Bull cannot make any commitments to Sainz at this time, as Max Verstappen is waiting to see what happens to sports director Helmut Marko before deciding whether to continue. It is possible that nothing will change in this regard for some time. Sergio Perez, his teammate, is driving far too good this year to justify swapping him for Sainz, with reports even going so far that Perez's one-year extension could be announced soon. Then there's Daniel Ricciardo, who is anticipated to offer himself for a return to the A-team at Red Bull, but still has more to proof than a fourth-place finish in the Miami Sprint. Christian Horner, Red Bull's team leader, stated in China that the driver selection process is not rushed. We are happy with our driver pairing and want to ensure that Perez can maintain his current consistency, and we are also in the comfortable position that many drivers want to drive for us. Perez himself is also optimistic he will be kept by Red Bull. I think until you have the paper fully signed, everything remains an option, he said last weekend in Miami. But I believe it's just a matter of time. Sainz, however, has good faith and believes the open Mercedes cockpit is tied to Verstappen. Toto Wolff, the team's CEO, makes no secret that the three-time world champion is on his want list if the upheaval at Red Bull forces him out. However, Mercedes does not yet provide a compelling technology package for a three-time world champion. Another theory is that Toto Wolff is only proposing Sainz, 29, a one-year deal to drive for Mercedes next year, leaving the door open for the team chief's 17-year-old prodigy Kimi Antonelli in 2026. Wolff mostly maintains he is currently waiting to see whether Max Verstappen unexpectedly appears on the 2025 market. If I were Max, I wouldn't leave the Red Bull team, at least not in 2025, the Austrian admits, but it's in his hands. He is the best driver now, and that is also why he is the one who has to make the choice. But with Verstappen stating in Miami that he is not eager to race for 5th and 6th place, Mercedes must thus improve in order to be a viable contender for the world champion. Alternatively, sign Adrian Newey for the 2026 car. But this will be a big challenge for Mercedes. According to reports in Miami, Mercedes is no longer ignoring Newey. There are reported to be cautious attempts at conversations, but according to recent rumours this might be too late. The top designer's negotiations with Ferrari appear to be advanced. This waiting for the Verstappen-Newey combo also implies that the Mercedes option for Sainz is dragging on. At best, he will receive a 1+1 deal, as Mercedes must leave all options open for 2026. Toto Wolff is willing to wait until October for the world champion if required. Until then, a lot may still go in Toto Wolff's favour. If nothing happens, he will take the risk of putting his prodigy Andrea Kimi Antonelli in the second car with George Russell, hoping Verstappen will come a year later. This delaying strategy is reinforced by Antonelli's increased development plan and potential GP appearance at Williams somewhere this year, replacing Sargent. From Verstappen's point of view, it makes more sense to rush to Mercedes in 2026, owing to regulatory changes and the engine's increased importance. Newey also fears it could become an engine formula again, like in 2014. The engine will definitely be more important than it is today. And with Mercedes being the ones with the most successful engines in recent years, it could tempt big players. There's another reason Wolff must wait as long as he can for Verstappen, even risking losing Sainz. When he reveals his drivers for 2025, Marko will no longer be protected by the prospect of a Verstappen change. Horner would then see that his superstar has nowhere to go in 2025. He would also know that Verstappen would have to immediately trigger the exit clause if Marko was sacked. He will then not be able to determine the timing of his departure. Sainz has the option of playing poker and eventually losing Audi, because Seidl too cannot find endless replacements on the market. At Mercedes, he must understand that he will merely be a replacement for Verstappen. Russell and Antonelli are still standing in the way. So, Carlos Sainz is most likely the first player in the game to run out of time. He is still prepared to wait. I don't want to rush into anything because then it could be the wrong decision. What do you think? Where could Sainz end up? And will Verstappen make a move? Let me know your predicted lineups for 2025 in the comments down below. But this is only what's happening in the top half of the grid. As in the bottom half, there is also a big silly season going on, and we can expect some interesting and maybe even shocking changes over there. As Mick Schumacher, the former Haas driver, is considering a return to Formula 1. Since losing his place at the end of 2022, the 25-year-old son of F1 legend Michael Schumacher has divided his Mercedes test and reserve responsibilities, with a return to racing in 2024 with Alpine's Le Mans Ready World Endurance Championship effort. When questioned about fresh F1 speculations at the last endurance round at Spa-Francorchamps last weekend, the German replied, "I'm monitoring the situation and can't say any more." Schumacher spent some time with Mercedes a couple of weeks ago at Silverstone, where he shared a 2022 Mercedes with Toto Wolff's teenage prodigy Kimi Antonelli. He allegedly completed more than a Grand Prix distance, although Mercedes is keeping all lap timings a secret. Mick's uncle, Ralph, sees optimism for a comeback to Formula 1. "I believe Mick deserves a place in F1, especially when you compare him with some other drivers." Schumacher's greatest chance of returning in 2024 appears to be Alpine, where he has formed a strong connection with team head Bruno Famin. Famin, who is overseeing Alpine's current F1 performance issue, is thought to be on the verge of losing both of his racing drivers for 2025. Wolff, who manages both 17-year-old Antonelli and Esteban Ocon's development, is allegedly lobbying for Ocon to join Mercedes-powered Williams in 2025 and beyond, but he is also rumoured to possibly move to Haas if Magnussen is going to be replaced as well, as the other seat will probably go to Behrman next year. And Ocon moving would open up a significant position at Alpine. However, it should be noted that Jack Doohan is also a candidate for next season. But reports are stating that Alpine may be preparing to offer Schumacher a test in a 2-year-old Formula 1 car in the coming weeks. Renault CEO Luca De Meo may be interested in Schumacher joining Alpine's F1 program for marketing reasons, due to the French marque's reliance on the German car market. And as Mick Schumacher stated, "It is still my goal to return to Formula 1. What do you think? Will we see Mick returning to F1 next year? Let me know your thoughts on silly season in the comments down below. Oh, and don't forget to post your grid predictions for next year. I'm not so sure which changes we'll get to see, but I'd love to see your predictions.